As a parent, watching your child melt down before school, struggle with sleep, or show signs of anxiety can be both heartbreaking and frustrating. Maybe you're wondering if the stress that they're experiencing is harming their developing brain and body. You've probably noticed that when your child is under extra stress, other health challenges show up too. Digestive issues, focus problem, emotional outbursts, and even other immune system struggles. This stat might shock you. Research shows that 35% of American children experience stress-related health problems. That could be PTSD, depression, aggression, and so much more. But what most doctors aren't telling you is that not all stress is harmful. Certain types are not only beneficial, but they're essential for your child's neurological development and for their resilience. The conventional medical system often overlooks this really important distinction in the profound connection between stress and your child's nervous system regulation. And unfortunately, most pediatricians miss the real root cause of these stress-related challenges as well. This nervous system dysfunction that can be both measured and corrected through neurologically focused chiropractic. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about whether or not stress is a good thing or a bad thing, or it kind of depends on what you can do about it. And that's our whiteboard topic this week here at Thrive, because we want to have that conversation. And spoiler alert, I'm going to give away the answer. It is not bad. We need stress in our life. There's a term for this called hormetic stress, and that is a short-term moderate stress that helps strengthen and build resiliency in the nervous system. Think about this, it's just like exercise, right? Exercise is a stressor on the body, but it's what builds muscle. It's what adds to growth. Whether that muscle is your heart rate, right? You're getting your conditioning in and your cardio, and that's strengthening your heart as a muscle, or if that's lifting weights, it's the same concept. We need those stressors. Without stress, there is no growth. Riding a bike, doing puzzles, learning in school, you've got to have those stressors or else there will never be development. So it's essential. Don't get afraid of that word because we need it in life, both as a kid and as an adult, right? The problem is chronic stress. Chronic stress that activates this fight or flight sympathetic gas pedal mode, that's when things show up. So let's explain, what is that sympathetic gas pedal word? There's different modes, different operating systems that your body can function under. The sympathetic is the fight or flight or the stress response. Totally appropriate if there is some sort of temporary survival thing that you got to deal with, but we don't want to get stuck there. The brake pedal, our wellness cycle, our rest and digest side of neurology, that is where we need to coast, right? We need all of our immune system and our gut health. We need the rest and regulation as our baseline. But if you're stuck in stress, you can't be in growth as well. So what this creates is a fancy word called dysautonomia. That dysautonomia is going to affect gut health. It's going to affect the immune system. It's going to affect your child's emotional regulation and sleep, and so much more. Now that stress can come from any number of things. It could be family conflict. It can be school pressures or peer things, right? Maybe they're dealing with some peer issues or bullying. It could be busyness in your schedule, sensory overload, or just other unaddressed health challenges that they're dealing with. I'm going to talk about in a second of where that can start earlier in life than you probably realize. But the last piece that I want to help you understand with that is that because kids are changing so fast, this matters more, right? Their brains are doing so much more in those younger years than we are doing at this point as adults. And so we need them to be in that well-adapted, well-regulated state, or else we're missing these really important, really crucial neurological developmental windows. So why is early on so important? Unfortunately, there is this whole series of stress that is affecting our kids way too soon. It's what we refer to as the perfect storm. The perfect storm oftentimes starts with a stressful pregnancy, right? However mom is experiencing the world is whatever baby's going to experience well. Those hormones cross the placenta and that becomes that baby's default mode, right? If there's been a lot of survival, fight or flight tension in life for mom, that's what baby's going to experience as well. That only gets magnified when we go through the birth process because birth trauma and birth intervention, emergency C-section, so many of those things can add extra layers of it. There's a deeper neurological connection there is when that takes place in the upper neck. This very top of the neck brainstem regulation zone is so crucial for the calming part of neurology. The vagus nerve is what it's called. That vagus nerve runs the brakes in the majority of your neurology and your nervous system. So when we have that birth intervention, C-section, forceps, vacuum, any sort of trauma, it almost always is damaging that really sensitive, really important area. So now we have extra stress with no ability to regulate, no ability to calm it down. And then unfortunately, that tends to lead to, for a lot of kids, early challenges as well. Maybe they're colicky, fussy, refluxy. Maybe they end up struggling with ENT drainage issues because of how jammed up that is. Now we have the toxic exposure to antibiotics or other lifestyle things or a million other things that can affect our kids. There's way too much stress that they're dealing with way too early on, which leaves them stuck in fight or flight. So what we need to do is if we can get ahead of that, right? Like if we can address those challenges from day one or even prenatal, preconception, we keep going back further, that's the best case scenario. But if it's too late, in the sense of, well, already the damage, the deed has been done, we know how to undo it. We know how to figure out where that's coming from. That's what our scans at Thrive are here for. We have 3 different neurological tests that are non-invasive, completely pain-free, completely simple to do for any kid. And those let us measure how is their nervous system regulated. Are they in fight or flight, or are they in a more regulated state? And where are those stressors? Where are those subluxation patterns showing up, so that we can put together the best game plan of undoing that challenge and getting that kid headed in a better direction. So that's what an adjustment is. The adjustment pumps the brakes, corrects that brain-body communication, and gets them back on track. So if that makes sense, if that feels like what's going on with your kid, if they have some of those early life struggles and it feels like they're in fight or flight, please let us be a part of that journey. Let us be a part of that story and help, one, just find out what's going on, right? Let's do that scan, measure the stress, and see what's going on so we can map out what would it take to get them headed in a better direction. That's something that right now we're encouraging everybody to do for an even greater reason of back to school season is a major stressor for a lot of kids, right? It's a big transition. Even if they love school, even if they do well with it, your routine is shifting, and that's just a different demand and different stress on your body, let alone if it's a kid that struggles with school and they have some of the emotional issues or focus challenges or anything like that. They probably aren't excited about it. So use this as a encouragement to take advantage of a chance to get scanned. What we're doing for a back to school promotion is, instead of our normal new patient exam that's $150, we're offering that for only $75 until the end of August. So if that is your kid, if you want to look into that neurological regulation further, please send us a message, give us a call, reach out online, whatever is easiest for you, so we can get that behind the scenes healing started and make sure they are at their best. Hope this helps. Can't wait to meet you soon.